The group mind does not think in the strict sense of the word. In place of thoughts, it has impulses, habits, and emotions. Edward Bernays, father of modern public relations. There is safety in the pack. One must understand this to completely understand why it is so difficult to act independently. To adopt new methods is not just to stray from the pack, but to mock the herd itself. For this, there are repercussions. The herd, large, powerful, belligerent, has ways to deal with rogue operatives. In football, a sport seen as a quasi-military exercise, innovative head coach Bill Walsh was routinely called a genius. It was done as a tribute to his creative play calling. In baseball, a sport laden with tradition, innovative manager Tony La Russa was also referred to as a genius. It was done to mock him. Football culture, unlike baseball culture, has welcomed the idea of intelligence, quote-unquote, as a tactical practice. It's seen as necessary, even manly. Coaches are lauded for attacking in new ways, like a brilliant general. Yet even in football, the herd mentality is difficult to shake. ESPN.com's excellent columnist Greg Easterbrook once asked Don Shula if there was an innovation left in football. Shula said, "Someday there will be a coach that doesn't punt." Over the last decade, the practice of mindless punting has decreased. Patriots head coach Bill Belichick, though, has been able to maintain an almost automatic advantage over other clubs by frequently going for it on fourth down. David Romer, an economics professor at the University of California, Berkeley, churned out a mind-blowing study on the folly of incessant punting in 2005. Studying NFL data, Romer concluded you should go for it on fourth down in the following circumstances. 1. Inside your opponent's territory on 4th and 7 or less. 2. Inside your opponent's 33 on 4th and 10 or less. 3. 4th and 4 or less anywhere on the field. So, given the statistics, why do NFL coaches keep punting? Because that is what has always been done. In life and in sports, it's easier to stay within the herd and fail than go out on your own and succeed. An innovative coach can insulate himself from a herd backlash by winning, but woe to him when the pendulum swings. If he begins to lose, he will not be one of the guys. Going against the herd is not a career path for the timid. Reverential of its tradition, the baseball culture eyes innovation even more warily. The baseball equivalent to punting is bunting. Both are seen as automatic moves. So let's set the scene. The leadoff man gets on. You have a choice. Let your next batter hit away or have him bunt. The manager stands on the top step giving the sign to bunt. The batter squares up. The fielders are in motion. The runner is primed to move. Here is the skipper, the leader of men, taking matters into his own hands, initiating a lot of action with his players fully engaged. Unfortunately, he'd be much more productive if he just sat on the bench and did nothing. Here's why. With even a successful bunt, you are giving up an out. It feels good. You can actually see the base runner move closer to scoring. What you don't see is that 1/3 of your resources have been spent. Here's what bunting actually does in this situation. We're looking at run expectancy based on the run-scoring environment from 1993 to 2010. If the situation is man on first, no outs, the runs expected in that situation, 0.94. Almost a run every time you get a man on first with nobody out. If you have a man on second with 1 out, meaning you have bunted him over, the run expectation there is 0.72 runs. With a man on first and no outs, you will, again, on average, score 0.94 runs. Move that man over on a bunt, you will now, on average, score 0.72 runs. So let's be clear, even with a successful bunt, you score fewer runs. Of course, you often bunt not to maximize the scoring, but to score 1 single run. Surely the successful bunt increases the chances of that happening, right? Nope. With a leadoff man on, a team will get that manager that 1 precious run 44% of the time. When the manager or player lays down the bunt successfully, that team will score